Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to put your studio boom arm onto a wall. For example, here is the Rode PSA1. It comes with this type of attachment, and this is a desktop mount. This attachment is not going to be strong enough to be put on a wall because inside it's actually plastic. And I'm going to show you how to work around this. Now over here I've got a different desktop attachment, and you can see this one is an alloy. Looks like it's aluminium, and this one can work to be put on a wall. So this one came off of this heavy duty boom arm. In this case, you can see the diameter of the tube is 12.5 and the Rode one 12.68, so very similar. So these two boom arms will both be able to fit in the wall mount bracket that I'm going to use and one that I'm going to retrofit. So when choosing your boom arm, try to get one that comes with a metal attachment, because this will be much easier to retrofit onto a wall. Now here's another one which I've reformed, and it's actually very easy to make this. All you need is some flat bar, and then you just need some tubing. So all I'm going to do here is just resize this. What has happened is this one is for a different boom arm, and it's just too snug to get in here. So I'm going to cut this open and re-weld it. But I'm also going to show you how to do it with this fitting, because maybe your boom arm came with this fitting. If you have the Rode boom arm like this, I don't recommend retrofitting this, because firstly, this is plastic. So even if you do mount this on the wall, over time, this part here is going to start to rattle and come loose, because this top part is actually just plastic. You can see already there starting to have that extra free play. Right, so the first step in this installation is to remove this piece here. We don't need it, so I can just remove this foam. You can use a blade just to remove it neatly. Right, so inside there is just a circlip. So if I remove the circlip, then this screw here will be able to come loose. So there you can see there's just a circlip there, and I'll just show you how to remove the circlip. You can take a long nose pliers or a screwdriver and just pull it backwards, because there's a mouth there where it's open, and all I need to do is pull it backwards. Just be careful that when you do remove the circlip, it usually flies away. So have your hand to cover it like that so it doesn't fly away. Alright, so now I have a wall mount bracket which you could use. This is the one that came with the boom arm. Alright, so there you can see how the boom arm is going to fit in there, and all I need to do is put a washer here and drill a hole into the wall. I won't need that anymore because I'll have to remove this. And if you wanted to, you could even grind that down. This one over here is the one I'm going to retrofit. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go grind that open, then I'm going to re-weld it, and then I'm going to install both of these and show you how I get both these boom arms onto the wall. Right, so what I did now is I just cut along there to open up this previous weld, and now I'm just sizing this tube to the Rode tube over here. This was for a smaller studio boom arm, so now I'm just resizing it. Again, this is very easy to make. Just a bit of flat bar and some round tube, and you can make your own bracket. So if you wanted to, here's the flat bar. You just cut it to size and then weld a piece of round tube over here and drill some holes, and there you've got a bracket for your studio boom arm. Right, I'm just filing it just to make sure it's smooth inside. Right, you want to file this quite a bit, and then you want to do a quick check here and see if it fits nicely. Yeah, it's smooth all the way in, smooth. Now it's time to just clean this up and then paint it. Now I just take some thinners. This is lacquer thinners, or you can use enamel thinners, and I just clean this. And now all I need to do is spray it. Right, let that dry, then spray it from the other angle, let it dry, and then just give a once over, and then let it dry for about 2 to 3 hours. Right, now there's the finished product. You can see that I've just lifted that a little bit to make it bigger. So now you can see it fits in the heavy duty one very nicely. And also for the road, you can see it fits in nicely, no noise. Now the next step is to go and drill in your wall. So I will need to drill 2 holes, which I've actually already done. And then all I'm going to do is put a screw and a washer. You could also spray that screw if you want it completely black. And remember I said that I'm also going to show you how to fit one like this. Now in this case, there's already a hole there, and you wouldn't be able to drill another hole there because you'd block where the tube for the boom arm is going to go. So I would recommend you do something like this. You see that's going to go over there. Then you'd need to drill a bigger hole for this type of screw and then put your plug. The reason why I recommend a much bigger screw is because it's only got a single attachment point in the middle. There's some lateral force and we don't want this to move. You might even want to put some glue just there and there. So all I would do now is drill this in the wall, and then I could use this for my stand, and then I didn't have to make one. Or if you were able to make your own stand, well then it's easy because now you just drill the holes according to the stand that you've made. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first show you this one, and I'm just going to fit it with a smaller screw because I've already drilled a smaller screw hole. So I'm just going to fit it like that. Obviously that's not going to be ideal, but I'm just going to show it to you working, and then I'm going to show you my retrofit with the 2 screws in place. Now in my case, I've already been using this for over a year. I just decided to make the video now. So I'm just going to use one of those holes that are already there. I just drilled it and then put a nylon plug. Now in your case, as I said, you would use something more like this. So it would be a much bigger screw, but I'm just showing you this for demonstration purposes. Now I've released the springs because it's easier to work with it and get my mounting height while the springs are loosened. I will put them back shortly. Just used a small screw, and already this is really strong. I mean, I could easily put 20 kilograms here. It won't come off, and obviously you can spray that. Now once you've decided that you're going to go with this method, all you need to do is you could just cut these pieces off. You don't need these protrusions here, so you could just put this flush and this would be cut off and you would spray it, right? Now something to be aware of, if you want to go all the way back, you can see that you're going to have this stand off a bit. The nature of these boom arms is, in order for it to be fully closed, it needs to be able to go further back, because as you can see, look at that, it wants to go backwards in order to become closed. So if you're okay with that, then it's fine. If you're not, you're going to have to stand yours off the wall a little bit more, or what I'll show you in the next part is to angle this a little bit down. When you angle this bracket by putting a spacer at the back, you angle it a bit down, you will see that it will automatically lean the arm and you'll be able to close it. Right, now I've just set them up on a desktop just to show you the road and the heavy duty having the same problem. When you want to put it back fully, you see how it leans towards the back. It needs that extra room, and that's also important if you are installing this on your table towards the back of your table and there's a wall. You're also going to need some extra space. So this is true of both types. Right, so over here I have the Rode NT1. And it's got the suspension mounting and the pop shield. And this is quite a heavy microphone. It's not as heavy as the Procaster, but this whole unit, let's just say that, weighs just over 1 kilogram. Right, so over here you can see the boom arm. If I want to move it up, you can see I move it up. If I want to bring it down to where I might talk, there you go, I bring it down. And obviously it can turn. And for packing away, you might just want to do it like that, and if you want it really low, then there we go. Now with this bracket, all I'm doing is I'm just putting a spacer there, so that's just a nut, and the reason for that spacer is to lean the microphone down a bit, because that will allow me to pack it away easier. Right, if I put the heavy duty boom arm in, you can see that it can close more because this is standing off a little bit. So if you want to, when you are designing yours, you can actually make this stand off quite a bit in order for this to fold all the way back while still being in line. You can fold, there you can see, turn it to the side, turn it to the other side, pull it down. What you can do is if you find this is too loose, like it turns too easily, you can just take a hammer and just tap it slightly over there and just make that fitting a little bit tighter. And then if you're going to be using the PSA1, This is spring loaded, so you've just got to remember to keep holding it. Right, so here is the road version, and you can maneuver this as you see fit. And very important, when you do install this, just make sure you use the spirit level, because if you install it at an angle like that, you're going to find it's going to want to travel. Even though you think it's at rest, it's going to want to do something like that. But in this case, as you can see, it is straight. It's not having that problem. Right, so here you can see it's a bit better, and the reason being is I've angled this bracket a little bit. So you can see it's actually almost flush. It just needs to stand off there about another 15 mils, and then this will be able to return all the way. Anyway, nevertheless, you can see you can pull it, you can turn it. It is very stable. Maybe you want to even rest it towards the side. That's also an option. And you can obviously fold that up, because obviously you need to tighten all that. There, it's snug right out of the way. And as soon as I need to use it, I'll just bring it down to my desk. You can see even at full stretch, the wall bracket has no problem. And you can see even if I tap it, that bracket is solidly in place. Right, so over here you can see it's perfectly on my table. Right, so there you go. And when you need to do your voiceover.
So with this video, we're going to be showing you.
Right, and when you're done, just move it out of the way. Right, so there you see the finished product, and thanks for watching, and cheers.